The main world scandal of the year turned out to be what many people already guessed, and some stars hinted as much as they could. IV's kidnapping, Fear, and Justin Bieber. And did The Simpsons really see it coming again? Rapper, producer, billionaire, and media mogul P. Diddy has finally been officially arrested and charged with multiple felonies. And this story will have such theories and versions that you will reconsider your attitude towards Hollywood, show business, and individual celebrities. I guarantee it. Tonight, I'm bringing you leading you into the main scandal of the year, and maybe even the decade. Just subscribe to the channel and support this video with your important likes. It's gonna get ugly. For many years, there have been rumors about the rapper's criminal activities. Sean Combs, aka Diddy, hip-hop artist, businessman, and producer. One of two rappers whose fortune has been estimated at $1 billion. The first would be Jay-Z, who coincidentally is closely related to Diddy. Gained popularity back in the 90s, always wanted to be number one, to be the most talked about, the richest, and to rule the destinies. That's why he went into producing. Puff Daddy back in the 90s collaborated with rapper Notorious B.I.G., who in turn had confrontations with Tupac. Everyone basically knows the fate of Shakur. He was shot dead in Las Vegas. And all these years, more and more rumors and speculation that ordered rap legend Sean Combs, aka Diddy. Even Eminem jokingly talked about it in the track Kill Shot.
Diddy put the hit out, think I pop kill. I'm just playing, Diddy. You know I love you.
And imagine the level of Diddy's dark side if right afterwards in the same track Eminem decided to apologize to Diddy. Back in the noughties, he was a big star. He had hits, a huge fortune, a business, and a public affair with Jennifer Lopez, but as the years went by, he went more and more behind the scenes, and as an artist he was less and less talked about. More he was discussed as an entrepreneur and a man behind the scenes of a business that's doing terrible things. If the allegations against the rapper are true, he could face life in prison. Now he's under surveillance to make sure he doesn't do anything wrong. And there's even information that he's hardcore paranoid. He doesn't eat food because he's afraid it's poison. But let's get to the point. Before he was accused of organizing sex parties, which will be, without exaggeration, a real hell, the media has already leaked information with isolated cases of violence. Back in May, American singer Cassie Ventura accused her ex, that is Diddy, of violence. CNN published footage of him throwing her on the floor, dragging her by her clothes, and beating her. These events are known to be 8 years old. Cassie claims that the rapper said her, got her hooked on alcohol and other substances, forced her to sleep with other men, and filmed it all on cameras. And the fact that Diddy settled out of court the day after the lawsuit was filed says something after all. Why would he do that if he was clean? A slew of other allegations came pouring in after that. One of the women back in the 90s the rapper allegedly drugged, raped, filmed the whole thing, and distributed the videos on the internet. Another 17-year-old girl he reportedly raped in a band. A third was also raped after being offered a glass of wine, which was apparently not wine, because she felt sick immediately afterwards. All of these events, according to the victims, took place back in the 90s and early 2000s, and we're picking up smoothly. We're getting to today's events. I know a lot of people associate Diddy with childhood, as I do, and we all listened to the Last Night track there, that legendary one, and Feat with Christina Aguilera. Even today, the whole world is discussing the house Diddy in which was held merciless sex parties. Victims they're brought to exhaustion for days, forced to do things against their will, and therefore found rooms equipped almost in medical centers. There were also found more than 1,000 bottles of baby oils and lubricants. And everyone who was seen at any of the parties organized by the rapper was caught in the act. DiCaprio, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. And there'll be a separate story. Jennifer Lopez and Justin Bieber. Let's get right to the Bieber story. There is a version that he was there, but not as a participant, but as a victim. On these shots, Bieber is only 14, and in the video, Diddy says how great they spent 2 days. Grown man, 40 years old with 4. Justin clearly looks depressed in this footage. Everyone knows that Bieber has gotten weird over the years, addictions, and in general his inner world is not a simple one. But could it have something to do with the rapper's partying? And apparently it can. For example, In those years, his career unrealistically flew upwards, but in parallel, in his songs, for example, Lonely, he talked about the fact that he paid a high price for popularity and everyone knows about his past. Just from what the world knows, well, his mom put a video up on YouTube, that's how popular he became. But what was behind it all? Because really, in his biography, the videos started uploading to YouTube, the popularity of his. I found him. He's got producers. He's popular. What kind of price of popularity he's talking about, I wonder. It's about to become clear. And what is the meaning of the Yummy clip in which adults, not the most disposable appearance, eat desserts, and is not such an allegory that this dessert for the producers in the end will be a little smarmy Bieber, who will coincidentally become a global star a year from now, but the boy will really just have one brilliant pop track after another and he'll be at the same event as Obama. Code at his parties was all in white at the end of the clip. Bieber dancing with adults in white clothes. Many also saw tears in the eyes of the young musician, but not in the clip and video from the backstage. And here is strange everything and such a cosmic rise of Bieber and his incredible fear to say a word in front of the rapper, and in general so much attention to the boy from a 40-year-old man in this story is very suspicious. And the death of a famous singer. Look, in '99, quite popular at the time was R&B singer Aaliyah, who at the time was dating rapper Jay-Z. Young up-and-coming singer Beyoncé, who would later become Jay-Z's wife, began to be compared to her at the time. Aaliyah would die in a plane crash in 2001, and rumors would swirl that it was a planned operation by Jay-Z and Diddy, two friends, to promote Beyoncé and make her popular. And Beyoncé knew about it. There's a lot of discussion right now about J. Cole's track, She Knows, which was released 10 years ago, and whose chorus and title are very consonant with Beyoncé's last name. It translates to She Knows, and Beyoncé's last name is Knows. It's spelled differently, but pronounced about the same. In the track, he says the phrase, "Rest in peace, Aaliyah," and after that, "She Knows," which is consonant with She Knows with Beyoncé's last name. Today, there can no longer be any doubt that J. Cole was just hinting at, and basically has already openly said that Beyoncé is aware of this case. And the most popular comment in America under this clip is about the same thing, that J. Cole knows everything. And people are just finding out now. They're discussing the death of Michael Jackson, who was close to Diddy. The pop singer has often been linked to children in scandalous ways. Some believe it, some don't believe it. But now his demise becomes even more mysterious. Maybe he knew something and was going to, or wanted to tell, for example. They also discuss Michael's phone call in which he tells a friend that he's about to be taken out. But the veracity of this conversation is still something we can't be exactly sure of. True, those who believe in the magic of numbers and the power of numbers will be horrified. In 2002, already after the death of Aaliyah, quite popular singer was Lisa Lopez. She was also called Left Eye. She also accidentally dies in Honduras in a car crash, and she went to get treatment for addiction. These events are known to be 8 years old. Cassie claims that the rapper said her, got her hooked on alcohol and other substances, forced her to sleep with other men, and filmed it all on cameras. And the fact that Diddy settled out of court the day after the lawsuit was filed says something after all. Why would he do that if he was clean? A slew of other allegations came pouring in after that. One of the women back in the 90s the rapper allegedly drugged, raped, filmed the whole thing, and distributed the videos on the internet. Another 17-year-old girl he reportedly raped in a band. A third was also raped after being offered a glass of wine, which was apparently not wine, because she felt sick immediately afterwards. All of these events, according to the victims, took place back in the 90s and early 2000s, and we're picking up smoothly. We're getting to today's events. I know a lot of people associate Diddy with childhood, as I do, and we all listened to the Last Night track there, that legendary one, and Feat with Christina Aguilera. Even today, the whole world is discussing the house Diddy in which was held merciless sex parties. Victims they're brought to exhaustion for days, forced to do things against their will, and therefore found rooms equipped almost in medical centers. There were also found more than 1,000 bottles of baby oils and lubricants. And everyone who was seen at any of the parties organized by the rapper was caught in the act. DiCaprio, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z, and they'll be a separate story. A rapper without one P, and missing a P, wouldn't it? Would be leaving P, would he? And if you read that quickly, you get, I mean, you know, like rapper replaced with rapist, didn't he? In that everyone heard P. Diddy, and now it's definitely true. Especially Eminem has already flirted with Diddy's criminal record. I hope I've made myself clear. Diddy was arrested on September 17th. Investigators have been working on him for 6 months. They said he couldn't have worked alone. They refused to release him even on the huge $50 million bail of his giant Miami home. The sale of a private jet and guarantees not to communicate with the victims. More than 50 people have already been questioned in the case. Over the course of a couple decades, dozens of global stars have passed through Diddy's parties, let's call them that. And when the details of these parties came to light, all the stars, Lot, Piscatcher, DiCaprio, Usher, and many others automatically fall into the ranks of suspects by society. And do you have any suspicion that there was all that hell going on there after all? His parties were called freak parties, and it had different levels of entry, status, desires, wallet, etc. Guns were found in the house. As previously stated, hundreds and even thousands of baby oils and lubricants. I don't think I need to explain what for. Quite a few IVs to bring victims back to their senses after abuse, alcohol, and substances. A lot of statements from possible victims over time, from isolated incidents of piecing to actual sale into SD slavery. No formal charges yet, but more and more information about kidnapping children to sell for the same cases that took place in this house. We're just not discussing them in detail right now, so it's not completely unsubstantiated. Justin Bieber's case is shocking in general. His video with the grown man Diddy, the depressed state, the great fame, and yet the addiction. And a lot of the victims were just talking about Diddy getting them hooked on substances, mental problems, and very clear now hints of those hellish parties. Victims testify that everything that happened to them was captured on cameras for future blackmail purposes. And what might have been captured on that footage, I don't think even our imagination can imagine. Darkness and horror. But also after these orgies, someone's career may have taken off, which also suggests some thoughts. It's already hard to look at anyone who became popular in the late noughties in the pop genre without suspicion, not even suspicion, of this Bieber horror story. The same Taylor Swift that Kanye alluded to. Rihanna became popular just one umbrella hit, which included Jay-Z, who decided to help the young singer. We've already talked about the rapper's connection to Diddy, and he was naturally a part of the parties too. Why did the world-famous billionaire rapper decide to choose and single out Rihanna? If this is all slander, why has he tried time after time to settle these cases out of court? Why would he now try to break out of jail by giving away his most prized possessions rather than just quietly wait for the right thing to happen and sort of prove his innocence? Isn't there some behind-the-scenes thing he's trying to pull to bring this whole thing down? Like he's probably already done. After all, we now have no doubt that the hints rapper's shouting out speaks to one thing: the blackness that Diddy has been orchestrating for years. But imagine his influence if no famous people have spoken openly about it. Even Bieber, who has become a major figure in pop music, is apparently afraid. Although another version is that Bieber is currently working with the authority, and soon he will tell everything necessary, but for now he just does not interfere with the process. But on the network collapsed support for Bieber, all comments only about it, as if there is already no doubt in the society what he went through to become popular. But what's there Bieber? Have you ever seen Eminem, who with his disses buried just rappers of their career? They always didn't care who to battle with. To have him apologize for one line. He did it once in his life, and of course in front of Diddy. And here, no matter how you look at it, nothing could be different. Other than fear, even in such large-scale people like this.